amazing artist.
Artists can make amazing sculptures with glass.
Sculpture with that. Artists can make an amazing sculpture with glass. Artists can make an amazing sculpture with that.
Believe it or not, this artist is making a glass swan.
Believer or not, this artist.
Believe it or not, this artist is making a glass swan. Believe it or not, this artist is making a glass swan.
Making glass swan. Making glass swans. This one.
Believe it or not, this artist is making a glass swan.
Believe it or not, this artist is making a glass swan.
So that's how glass is made.
So that's how glass be made. So that is how glass is made.
But it's kind of weird, isn't it? I mean,
but
it's kind of weird, isn't it? I mean,
it's kind of weird. Is it?
But it's kind of weird, isn't it? I mean,
but it's great, isn't it? I mean,
how did people ever discover that if you melt sand, it makes glass?
How did people discover? How did
people ever discover that if you melt sand, it makes glass?
How did people ever discover that? How did people discover that if you melt sand, it makes glass? But it's great, isn't it? I mean, how did people discover if you melt sand, it can make glass. It can make glass. Discover that if you melt sand, it makes glass.
We've been making glass for a long time.
We have been making glass for a long time. We've been making glass for we've been making glass for a long time. It's great, isn't it? It's great, isn't it? It's great, isn't it? I mean, how did people discover that if you melt sand, it makes glass? We've been making glass for a long time.
So long ago now that no one knows for sure who was the first person to discover that if you melt sand, it makes glass. So long ago now that no one knows for sure who was the first person to discover that if you melt sand, it makes glass. So long ago now that no one knows for sure who was the first person to discover that if you melt sand, it makes glass.
So long ago now that no one knows for who was the first person to discover this if you melt.
So long ago now that no one knows for sure who was the first person to discover that if you melt sand, it makes glass.
So long ago now that no one knows for sure who was the first person to discover that you melt sand is make glass. So long ago now that no one knows for sure that who was the first one, was the first person to discover that if you melt sand, it makes glass. Okay, the snack. So for a long ago now, so long ago now. That's so long ago now. That no one knows for sure who was the first person to discover uh discover that if you melt sand, it make glass.
But some of the earliest objects made of glass come from ancient Egypt.
But some of the earliest
But some of the earliest objects made of glass come from ancient Egypt.
come from ancient Egypt. Egypt đúng nhỉ? Egypt. Okay. But some of the earliest objects made of glass come from ancient Egypt. Okay. But some of the earliest objects made of glass come from ancient Egypt. Okay. Ancient Egypt. Okay. Yep, we have it. But some of the earliest objects come from Egypt. Okay, next one.
A place covered in desert sand.
Uh, gì à?
A place covered in desert sand.
Place covered sand. Đó, là gì ta?
A place covered in desert sand.
Cái gì? A place.
A place covered in desert sand.
A place. A place. Cover in. A place covered in desert. Desert of sand. Desert sand. A place covered in desert sand.
Could it be that someone long ago had a campfire?
Could it be? Could it be? Đó. Could it be? Could it be that someone? Could be that someone long ago had a campfire. Campfire. Could it be that someone long ago had a campfire? Could it be that someone long ago had a campfire? Okay. Could it be that someone long ago had a campfire? Could it be that someone long ago had a campfire?
And notice that the heat of their fire melted the sand beneath it.
And notice that the heat of fire can melt the sand. And notice that of their fire melt